right, so good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for tonight's Saint Spotlight. Tonight, we're shining the spotlight on our math, business, and science departments. So we are excited to have our teachers here with us to share a little bit about their departments, to answer some questions, and we're really looking forward to sharing this with you tonight. So I'm Molly Edwards. I'm the admissions director here at Newman Goretti. We have all of our math and science teachers here as well. You'll get to know them as the night goes on. But as we go through, any questions you have, please feel free to drop them in either the Q&A or in the chat. We will get to them all. And welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. So we're going to start tonight's spotlight with our math department, math and business together. They've put together a little video to introduce themselves and talk about their department. And then we will do some Q&A with the math and business departments. Then we'll move into science, do a little more Q&A, and then wrap everything up. So here is our presentation.
My name is Mrs. Pappas. I'm the math department chair here at Newman Goretti. I also teach Algebra 1 to freshmen and AP Calculus to seniors. Our curriculum focuses on critical thinking skills and developing your problem-solving abilities.
The math department here at Newman Goretti really helps and makes you think. It really develops you as a student, makes you mature more, makes you really think here at Newman.
As a freshman taking college prep algebra, you would have an extra math class called Algebra Extension. In this class, you work with a different teacher, and they help you sharpen your Algebra 1 skills that will help you be successful in my algebra class.
Hi, future NG students. My name is Miss Black, and I just want to briefly tell you a little bit about Algebra 2 here at Newman Goretti. If you are eligible and you choose to do so, you can take Algebra 2 as a sophomore. If you choose to take that course, you will also be taking geometry, and they will both be in the honors courses. A benefit to choosing Algebra 2 as a sophomore is that you will be able to take AP Calculus as a senior. Taking AP Calculus as a senior means you can take the AP test, which could give you some credits toward college, the college that you choose, depending on what score you get. Another benefit to taking Algebra 2 as a sophomore is that if you choose to maybe take a different route, you don't have to take a math your senior year, and you can take a different elective of your choice. So that's just a little bit about Algebra 2 here at Newman Goretti, and I hope to see you guys as freshmen.
I teach Algebra 1 honors. I teach geometry honors and geometry college prep. Mathematics and understanding what math is in life and society for young teenagers here at Newman Goretti.
Hello, my name is Mr. Walton. I'm a teacher here at St. Newman and Goretti High School. I am also currently the pre-calculus teacher. The pre-calculus course here at St. Newman and Goretti focuses on student-based learning through the CPM textbook. The curriculum includes such topics as graphical transformations and analysis, trigonometric functions, limits, logarithms, exponentials, and other geometric concepts, algebraic concepts, as well as concepts leading into calculus.
Hi there, my name is Isabella Marashi, and this is my first year teaching math at Newman Goretti. I'm in my second year of teaching, and I am teaching Algebra 1 to our freshmen and AP Calculus to our crazy smart seniors. I've really loved working at Newman Goretti so far. My students are fantastic and such a pleasure to be around. I'm also a part of the ACE program through St. Joe's University, which placed me in Newman Goretti and pays for my grad degree. It's a pretty good deal. Yeah, I love our Newman Goretti students, and I've been having so much fun teaching them and getting to know them.
We also offer a variety of business electives that you can take your junior or senior year.
Hi, my name is Mr. Cassidy. I've been teaching in this building for 30 years, teaching for 40 total. I am the business law, personal finance, and marketing teacher. What I try to do in my classes is teach real life situations. Personal finance, how to take care of your money. Business law, making sure what you're doing is correct. And marketing, looking at commercials and seeing what you do and don't like about it. It affects every day. Business is all around you. I try to point out to each one of my students every day how this relates to what you do in your personal life. I still enjoy it. Been teaching many years, but the kids keep me young. Good luck. Hopefully I'll see you in a couple years. All right, folks. Take
The
care.
math department here really got me better. Really made me look at things differently in the outside world and in school. I really feel as though here at Newman Goretti Math will definitely get you right.
Awesome. I'm going to say thank you so much to our math department for putting that together. It was such a nice look at who you are and what you do and what we have to offer here. So I want to do a little Q&A with our math department, and for all of our guests who are here, feel free to send any questions through the Q&A box or the chat. But for the math teachers, my first question is, what skills, outside of just, learning the math, what skills are you hoping to teach your students and hoping that they leave your classrooms with?
So we're really hoping that they are able to just problem solve, whether it be a math problem or just a problem in general, and also to build teamwork, because we have a lot of problem-based, that's what our textbook is based off of, teamwork and working together to come to a solution.
Awesome. Thanks, Ms. Black. And can you talk a little bit about what sorts of, what the workload is like, what sorts of assignments or projects the students can expect in their math classes?
Well, so for my classes, I have mostly juniors and some sophomores who take my honor section. But mine are based off of exams, some projects here and there, quizzes, homeworks, and classwork. And so my homeworks and classwork are usually just completion based, just to make sure you're paying attention, following along, where my quizzes and exams and projects are more content based, where I'm checking for correctness.
So thanks, Ms. Black. Now I know we have, we talked about how we have AP Calculus. We have students going all the way up to AP Calculus BC, which is the second level. So it's awesome. We're supporting our students in those higher level math courses. But I know for a lot of students, especially coming out of 8th grade, math is challenging for them, or it's a subject where they don't feel as confident. So can you guys talk a little bit about the supports that are available for students who may be struggling in math or just need a little extra help? What sort of ways do we support them in growing through the math curriculum here?
Well, I'm pretty sure that all kids who are taking Algebra 1, unless they're in the honor section, have an extension class where they can have an extra period to work on problems that they're having trouble with, or maybe even something extra if they are okay with what they are learning. And I know that Mr. Sweeney also offers a lot of after-school tutoring, which I am a part of as well. So for math especially, and then even for other subjects as well. And I think Ms. Ramos, if you want to talk more about the help that you give.
Yes, sure. So my name is Ms. Ramos. I teach all the math extensions, which primarily there's a lot of Algebra 1 extension students, but also we offer a support class for geometry, Algebra 2, and as well as pre-calculus. But really what's the focus of that is to have a second period in the day with smaller sections so students can get more one-on-one instruction and have more time to practice with the concepts and really focus in on their assignments and make sure they're keeping up with the work. So I've noticed that it's been a big help for students to just have that time in the day and have that smaller section size as well.
Thanks, Ms. Ramos. And I know our math extension program is somewhat unique amongst high schools in the area. For those viewing, it's unique in that it's offered to almost all of our 9th graders. Every 9th grader who is not in an honors level math course takes a full second period of math every day where they're doing exactly what Ms. Ramos said, getting that support, working in smaller groups, and really making sure they have all the time they need to master the concepts, which I know personally I could have really used in high school math. And I find that our students feel the same way. Ms. Black, can you talk a little bit about mathletes and extracurriculars as they relate to the math department?
So I run Mathletes, which is held, I try to hold it every Monday. So each month we get a different topic. Last month was circles, and this month was like lines and inequalities and things like that. So kids from either freshmen all the way up to seniors can work together on problems, maybe especially for the freshmen, something that they've never seen before, and even for the seniors, and a little harder than what they may see in class, and it's just different. So usually people who are taking my Algebra 2 class won't see many circles and things. So it's just a different type of math that they'll get to work with if you're really interested in math or if you want to get interested in math.
Awesome. And about how many students participate in Math Leads each year?
Last year was a little different. I don't think we had it. But this year we have actually a pretty good turnout, which is 14, which is good to me.
Awesome. Thank you. And this will be my last question for the math teachers. Why do you like teaching math at Newman Goretti?
I love especially when they're first starting and they really have no clue what they're doing. And then by the end of the class, it just something clicks in their head and they understand. And it just gets them excited and me a little bit excited as well.
Thanks, Ms. Black. Any of our other math teachers want to weigh in? What do you like about teaching math here at Newman Goretti?
I could talk about a little bit. I have been encouraged by the STEM and STEAM programs. So a lot of the things, even with my own education, I like integrating multiple disciplines into a focus. So like, I like to integrate some scientific, ideas. I like to integrate a lot of these, maybe like more like engineering aspects to mathematics, but take it on a very practical and, relatable way, because, with my history in math, I felt there's a big, separation between all the studies, and, that's what has helped me over the years. So I try to, inculcate my own experiences and try to deliver for the students in that way.
Thanks, Mr. Walton. And I want to ask Mr. Cassidy, a lot of times kids say, well, we're learning math. What does this have to do? When am I ever going to use this? But you're teaching the classes where they really will absolutely use all those concepts going forward in a really tangible way. So what do you enjoy about teaching your business classes, and how do you help the kids connect it to the real world?
Well, like you said, you hit it right on the head. It's easier. I taught math for 30 years. I taught business for the last 10. I find it easier teaching business because I can relate it to the real world. I give the math teachers a lot of credit because they have to take something abstract and make the kids believe in it. Mine, we talk about everyday occurrences every day in school, every day, something current and how it affects them. The only problem with my classes is when I talk about money, it's monopoly money. It's mom and dad's money. It's not their money. But I said, it's going to be your money soon. And when you do, you're going to be a lot more aware of it instead of you now. It's anything. I think, especially personal finance, I think it's the best course in the school, not because I teach it, because it teaches every kid, no matter where they're going, college, in the trades, whatever, that they all going to need to take care of money, and hopefully I have a little bit of influence on them. Hopefully. We won't know for a couple of years, but we'll see.
Thanks, Mr. Cass. And tell me if this is right. Our students are required to take at least one business course over the course of their 4 years, right?
It's strongly suggested, but they're not required. I mean, I have the most kids in the school, but I do not have every junior or senior, not every person that graduates Newman Goretti has business. 90% of them do, but not everyone. Okay.
Got it. Thank you so much.
All right.
I want to thank our math and business teachers for weighing in. We are going to move on to science, talk a little bit to the science department, and then we'll wrap up with everybody. So I want to share the video that our science department put together, and enjoy.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Mr. Henson. I'm the science department chair here at Newman Goretti High School. I teach AP Biology, Physics First, and Biology 2 at Senior Science Seminar. In this video today, you'll see some of the other science teachers in action, and hear from some of our students, and see some of the classrooms and lab setups that we have here at our school. Other course electives that we offer here, science electives outside of our core sciences, are anatomy and physiology, kinesiology, AP Physics, AP Biology, AP Chemistry, a Biology 2 course, and a few others. Here as science teachers, our goal is to expose students to the fields of science and see what speaks to them. We want to foster interest and appreciation for science and scientific thinking. And for a lot of our students, I think they really encounter and discover that they like science, that science is for them, or maybe science isn't for them. But either way, that's our goal here as science teachers.
Hi, I'm Mr. Wesleyan. I teach Biology 1 and Anatomy and Physiology here at Newman Goretti. In biology, we study everything from biological molecules to cells to larger living things like animals and plants and to humans, and how they all work together to create a web of living things that we call the biosphere. And in anatomy, we study the human body, all the organs in the human body, all the systems, how they work together and how they function. And we hope your student gets to experience all the science department at Newman Goretti has to offer and enjoys their time here.
Howdy, I'm Mr. Arrigo, and I am the chemistry, physics, and AP physics teacher here at Newman Goretti. I am currently inside of our brand new physics lab, and as you can see here, we have our 3D printer, and it is printing something neat. If you want to know what it is, you'll have to come join us in order to see what it is.
Hello, I'm Mr. Taylor. I teach chemistry here at Newman Goretti High School. This is my first year at Newman Goretti. I'm very happy to be here. In chemistry, we explore just the structure of matter and how matter reacts. But in chemistry, you like to get just beyond just the matter itself, and how things react are the fun part, I think, and probably the more interesting part. And we do demonstrations. One of them is sort of an old favorite. It's called the Ammonia Fountain. So this is an experiment where we've collected some gas in a large flask. A little vacuum is created inside the flask. Water is pumped in. As the water comes out, it goes into what's called an indicator, which turns color of the water, and then the water is sucked back in through the vacuum and creating a fountain. It's a lot of fun to watch. And you learn about what it means to be, what basic and acidic means and how gases behave. And this is one of the demonstrations you might see in the chemistry class here at Newman Goretti.
How's it going? I'm Mr. Marceau. I'm the kinesiology, health, and physical education teacher at Newman Goretti. Sometimes we cover, along with just healthy lifestyles, healthy nutrition choices, stuff like that, and the health and PE department. Kinesiology will cover stuff like anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, sports psychology, how they all intertwine in terms of how you move and how your body works and operates. So I've been in the sports realm for a greater part of the last decade, and I'm glad to be in a setting where I can now, hopefully teach kids what I'm passionate about in terms of the human body and how everything works and how we take care of ourselves. So it's a great opportunity. I'm looking forward to it.
Hello everybody, my name is Lemmon, and I'm a biology teacher here at Newman Goretti. In my classes, we do projects. So we have project-based learning that guides our inquiry, our curiosity, and then our creation of unique and original projects. One of the things that we use a lot in my classroom are visual aids, like documentaries. We're using TV shows that show about the living world, whether it's the human body or its ecosystems. There's so much to pull from the natural world, and so we make sure that we use the most up-to-date, most recent, most effective visual aids in our classes, as well as making projects. I'm also taking the lead on organizing some of our labs, so our physics lab with our 3D printer, and our biology and chemistry labs, just to make sure they're fully functional for our students. So we hope your students get to experience all the science department has to offer here at Newman Goretti.
Thank you, Science Department. That was wonderful. I do have some questions, but the first one that I need to know is, Mr. Arrigo, what kind of things are you printing in the 3D printers? I know you can't tell us exactly what that one was, but what are you guys using them for? What are the plans for them going forward? Because that's really cool.
All right, so my plan is to eventually get the AP physics class in there and have them come up with their own project to print on themselves. I do have some students that were transfer students, so they actually already know how to program and print. So hopefully they could take the lead, and students like learn from other students. It's usually helpful that way.
Awesome, thank you. So science teachers, same way we started out with the math department, what are the bigger skills and concepts you want your students to leave our science classes with?
So a lot of the similar skills that you find in the math department too.
but critical thinking skills and thinking scientifically. And what that really means is in your mind executing many experiments and exploring the relationship between variables. If I were to change this in some setup in an inclined ramp in physics with a car, if I change its weight or the angle or the friction or whatever, how would this change? And then putting that into play, seeing how it plays out. And then a lot of that usually ends up playing off math skills or running the analysis of data and things like that. So thinking critically and thinking scientifically, supplementing that with our use of numbers and math. And I would also say this has been particularly helpful in my own experience when I was learning these subjects for the first time, was really an active imagination and visualization of what's going on, especially with the sciences that are, let's say, a little bit harder to see, like chemistry. You really need to be able to visualize what's going on. And there are certain labs and activities and things like that that can make microscopic phenomena come to a larger scale or make it easier to see them on a larger scale. But really being able to visualize and see what's going on, even if it's not there, makes learning these concepts far easier.
And can I jump in for a second?
Absolutely.
And I wanted to just add in, for a lot of students who may not be going into science in their future careers, may not be going to medical, I really want them to understand how to look at scientific information, how to look at scientific data. It comes up in the news, in social media. You have to learn is this good information, first of all? Where's the source? Has it been repeated? Has it been replicated? Is it true? If we do it one time, is it true? How many times do we need to do it to know it's true? And if the information has been changed in any way, if they stretch the graph out, what impression does it give you? If they squish it together, does it give you a different impression? And is the data, does it make sense for the question that they are answering and also the statements they're making? Because a lot of times you see information and the news article or the TV broadcast, or the internet podcast or whatever is just making their own spin on it. And they really don't have basis in the information that was gathered. So I want them to understand how to look at it, and is the information supporting what the statements are coming out. So it's really getting more and more critical nowadays, because we become more, as humans become more advanced, we're getting more scientific information, more complex problems. So it's kind of an important thing, even if you're not a science person in the future or in a medical or scientific field, you still need to understand, does this information make sense? So it's something I really try to get to them, and I love it when they get it. Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wesleyan. And that's awesome. This actually came up last week in our English and social studies spotlight as well, especially in the social studies department. They're running into the same sorts of things. Kids are reading about so much or seeing so much in current events, and they're really focusing on helping them become critical consumers. And it's great that they're getting that across the disciplines. I know when I was in high school, there were certain classes that had, almost like capstone projects that everyone knew you were going to do that project that year, or everyone talked about it after, like you remembered those projects. So I'm curious, what are some of those projects or assignments in your science classes that you really hope stick with the students even after they're gone?
So I can
Go ahead.
I can go really quick. So one of the big things in biology, last year we were a little bit handicapped in terms of what we were able to do in the lab because we were virtual and hybrid. But this year we're really working to get our lab fully functional, and we have plenty of materials to start dissecting things. And so I think that's kind of one of the cornerstone pieces of a high school biology class. It's kind of some kind of dissection of, just to learn about how living things work. And so we've been getting all the materials ready to help students do that. And the hope is to, make sure that stays a part of our core science offering here.
That's great. We actually get alumni who come back and ask, are we dissecting anything this year? What's it going to be? So I'm glad to hear that's coming up. Mr. Taylor, go ahead.
Yeah, this is my first year teaching chemistry. Like Mr. Hansen said, I think chemistry, I think that one of the problems is it seems kind of abstract. And this year I have a lot of food science background. I cooked a lot, and I could see maybe a capstone
somehow involving, food chemistry experiments and try to get, I think kids could really relate to those. And I don't, again, I think science can make you look at the world better and, information and just to see more of the wonder, and while at the same time, maybe thinking about it a little more rigorously than you would have before. But that's my hope. I think that's my strength would be the food aspect, but that's all I'm gonna say. Thank you.
For science teachers, how much time do you spend in the lab doing lab work versus in the traditional classroom?
So if I can go, I would say that I try to get the kids in the lab every chapter. It usually takes me about a week and a half to do a chapter, and then immediately after we wrap up lab.
That's great. And I see your class in the lab all the time, Mr. Rigo, which is awesome. I think it's good for the kids to get kind of that hands-on experience with the material. I know we have a lot of students who come in who do have interest in going into the medical field, into the science fields. And so I'm curious, what sort of opportunities do they have within the science department to start preparing for a course of study in medicine or in, specifically in medicine in the healthcare field?
Yeah, so the first real tangible step towards doing that is taking the upper level science coursework. So once all of your core sciences are done, let's say by your junior year, physics, biology, and chemistry, you can start taking AP chemistry, AP physics, AP biology, and obviously all those courses are at the college level. And so getting ahead, either getting ahead and doing well in the exam and getting that credit already established by the time you get into college is a massive leg up. Or even if you don't take the exam or don't do as well on the exam as you'd like, encountering that material at that rigor, at that pacing is a massive, massive help, a massive leg up when you get to college too. And there's deeper and tougher material in those classes than you'd cover. AP biology is not just faster, harder biology, but deeper, tougher biology using some of the same skills that we've talked about, but in newer, unfamiliar contexts, and whatever it is that we're learning too. But I mean, this isn't exactly, let's say, and how to prepare for these for student. This isn't exactly something that students can use to prepare for their, let's say, nursing school and college, or thinking about being pre-med or whatever it is. But I mean, and I know this isn't just for me, but I always try and take time to talk to my students and listen to whatever it is that they have to say about their predicted development or trajectory with where they think they're headed and what they're interested in, and try and maybe fill in the conceptual gaps. And because a lot of students will say, well, I'd like to become a doctor and I'd like to become a neurologist or something like that. They don't really know. They know I'm here and neurologist is here, but what are the gaps in between? I sure didn't know what they were in high school and slowly figured them out in college. So when I do hear those conversations pop up, I really do try and take the time and patience and attention to listen to what they have to say, what their plans are. And I think that's very exciting and motivating for them, because it's like, oh, it's not just one day I become a neurologist. Hearing about the steps and the little stepping stones along the way it's very motivating, and it kind of keeps your eyes open more to what you're doing. And I know the other teachers here do that as well, because some of us really are not too far removed from our college years too. So that process and trajectory is still very fresh in our minds.
Thanks, Mr. Hanson. And I know, Mr. Marceau, the kids talk a lot about how much they enjoy the kinesiology class, but I think when 8th graders hear that is a big word that they're not sure exactly what it is. So what exactly are they doing in kinesiology? What can it help them with in the future?
Yeah, kinesiology basically is how your human body works. What all goes into human movement, from the neurological level, from the brain all the way down to your muscle cells. What's the anatomy of those? How do they all interconnect and help you move and go throughout daily life? It does help if you're interested in sports and movement and stuff like that. But in terms of career choices, PT was always a big one, especially in when I majored in kinesiology, there's a lot of physical therapy students, nursing students had some overlap. Obviously the sports realm, I was a strength and conditioning guy, you go athletic training. There's a bunch of different careers that you can go, especially in the medical field and clinical setting, that this knowledge that you learn in kines class and beyond will help with. So I don't know, I always took an interest to it. I hope my students also take an interest to it. But yeah, I think it's a fun class. I think it's very interesting to know what kind of helps your body move and react to things. And so I don't know, there's a bunch of different things you can do with it, and I just hope to simplify it and hope to gauge some interest in it.
Thanks, Mr. Marceau. And Mr. Wesleyan, what's the distinction between kinesiology and your anatomy and physiology class?
I think that I'm going deeper into the actual every distinct part and function of the body, not just focusing on movement, but every body part, organ, and how they work together, and even parts of the organs and how they function together. They all kind of make a large sort of overlapping fabric of connected, functions. They all work together in a very, very intricate way. So it's kind of trying to like get a high school level version of anatomy course. So not incredibly deep, but you start realizing all these systems depend on each other, and this is how the body functions overall. Digestion affects the nervous system, affects the brain affects the skeleton, and all the muscles affect the digestion. So all these things work together, and it's a really complicated system, but try to simplify it and make it interesting. And it really does help out if you're going to medical field. Even if you don't ace this class, you're going to have a great introduction to what you're going to be seeing in medical school or any kind of medical field, like even just EMT job, an ambulance person, or any kind of assistant kind of medical job. There's tons of them, and you can get a certification for medical jobs, but this will really help you to know stuff before you go into it and be familiar with all parts of the body, how they function, what they do to each other.
Great, thank you. I think one thing that's a little unique at Newman Goretti is the sequence of our science courses, and that our ninth graders start with physics first, which is the ninth grade physics. But I know for sometimes the eighth graders think I'm going to start with physics. That sounds like the hardest one. So can you talk a little bit about why we start with physics and what that course looks like for the ninth graders?
Sure. So go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the explanation I give is that physics is sort of like, if you think of science as a pyramid, physics is kind of the base of the pyramid, and all the other science is a version of applied physics. So chemistry is applied physics, and biology is applied chemistry, and so on and so forth. So that's why we start with the little basic physics first. I'm sure Brett can add to it as well. Ms. Hanson.
If I may actually get involved here. I know also another reason for it is because of paralleling of the different subject matters. So for instance, physics deals with a lot of algebra, at least the program. So they like to parallel that with the algebra courses at least here. So I think that's like an extra practice that they get, and that's also a reason for the reason why doing physics first.
Yep, yeah, that's definitely right, Rob, what you said, and they're unavoidably linked, physics and chemistry most specifically to math, and those are the two science classes that they take first, and obviously, hopefully, as their math skills get better and better through high school, that's supplementing how good and how much better we get in science too. So yeah, definitely an important link there between what's going on in each student's, let's say, science world and each student's math world.
Thank you. And so it'll be, I think, my final question for the science teachers, same as for the math teachers. What do you like about teaching science at Newman Goretti specifically?
I'd say, in tying back to some of the skills I talked about earlier, but encouraging students to think scientifically. It wasn't really until high school that I guess I really started seeing my pronounced interest in science, and even maybe the latter half of high school for me too. I mean, middle school science, I don't really know if it stands out too much to anybody. But in high school, you have a chance to go deeper and really push yourself on what it is that you're learning. And I guess when I started thinking that way, it gave me a much deeper appreciation for all the things around me. You know, even if I just look at what's in front of me now, like a wooden lamp base and a table and a computer screen, like knowing or having learned the science that I have, I can understand these things more now, why they are the way that they are, why, you know, why everything's not combusting or exploding or falling apart at any given moment, why things tend to be stable. If they are going to react in a certain way, why they have a tendency to do that. And it might seem like a silly use of science to ask why my desk is standing here and why it's not falling apart or something like that. But even looking at the simple things that we kind of just take for granted every day, you can find a lot of like simple beauty in those things, knowing the scientific basis of each of them.
I also would like to include one thing, because I am in the math department, but I have a physics background. I think working for a Catholic school, especially St. Newman Goretti, I love the aspect of being able to teach scientifically minded, teaching about the world versus the the beyond world. You know, you can show how they're different, but at the same time, how they don't contradict either. Like you can also show how those two ideas, two searches for truths actually can work harmoniously. And that's also an important feature I like to also encourage in my classes.
And I think what Mr. Walton just said is a fantastic point. So in teaching junior and senior biology courses the past couple of years, I kind of get students, you know, after they've been kind of broken into high school. And so and that's a good thing because they have the foundation to have deeper conversations and deeper explorations of truth. And, you know, in biology class, it's like, hey, this is the living world. Let's talk about the living world, and maybe let's even talk about how God fits in the living world, or let's answer some of those deep questions you have, because you're now mature enough to, you know, to talk about this stuff in a classroom setting, because their teachers have been doing such a good job in freshman and sophomore years. So I think, yeah, what Mr. Walton said is absolutely correct. Like Newman Goretti is unique because the students are you know, very hardworking, and by the time they get to junior and senior year, they're ready to start thinking a little bit bigger, and that allows the science, you know, our science department and math department, and you know, all these departments that offer these higher level courses, it allows us to kind of work with the students' open-mindedness, and yeah, that's a big key to student success here.
That's great. Thank you so much. And I love that our students learn that they can both be people of faith and also be scientists who believe in the scientific method and process. And it's amazing that you're balancing all of that in your classrooms every day. So I want to leave one more question for all of our teachers, math, science, business, everything. Anything else you'd like to share about your experiences teaching at Newman Goretti? What stands out to you about our school, our students, our school community?
Yeah, I'll start off. I mean, really, it's teaching with young people, and just to see, or teaching young people and working with them, excuse me, and to see such passion and enthusiasm and energy, not just in whatever it is, like in my physics class, not just seeing their enthusiasm for physics, but you know, really like seeing who they are as like a whole person. And even if that means it's like a student who really is not really liking the science, it's what finding out what they're interested in. Like, is there a sport that really has their attention, or is there something that they really are loving learning about in school? And I don't know, asking them questions about that and giving them the kind of encouragement that I think young people really need. But hearing, I don't know, just hearing each of them about all their, you know, their certain quirks and who they are and why they like what they are, and it's just really interesting to see all of that. And then it's all, you know, peacefully cohabituating in the same school. It's an awesome thing.
I'd like to also add, it's about the community itself. there's such a strong relationship among the faculty, among the administration, among the students, and it's such a cohesive unit. You know, we're so deeply involved and yet very supportive of all the different hierarchies or relationships within, you know, the school. And I think that the strong harmony between the teachers and the administration, and even with their students, there's such a, you know, I guess I'm repeating myself, but a deep connection.
That's great. Thank you so much. And I agree. And the students echo that constantly. When they talk about their teachers, they say the same things back, how supportive you are, how open you are to helping them and providing support when they need it. So it's going both ways, and it builds this amazing community. I think we've spotlighted everything about math and science here at Newman Goretti. You've really shown what makes our courses special because it goes so far beyond the curriculum here. So I would like to thank you, all of our math and science and business teachers, for being here tonight, for taking time to talk to our 8th graders and share about your departments. Just to look ahead for those who are viewing with us tonight, we have a few spotlights coming up. Our next one is Fine Arts and World Language on November 18th, followed by Faith at Newman Goretti, a night with our athletic department and coaches, and a final spotlight on student life, where we'll hear from our ambassadors and learn about clubs and activities and extracurriculars. And I just want to leave us with a student quote that I think really sums up everything we've talked about tonight and what Newman Goretti really is, especially in the classroom. And this is from Krista D. Gregorio, a member of our junior class. And she said, "What I love the most about being a student at Newman Goretti is that I feel safe and comfortable being at school. The teachers are caring and go out of their way to make sure we understand everything they're teaching. I'd recommend Newman Goretti to other students because the teachers really care about teaching their students and do all they can to help us succeed in life." And that's a sentiment echoed by students over and over again. So again, teachers, thank you for being here with us tonight. Thank you to everyone who was able to join us. And with that, we will say goodbye and see you next week for those who will join us then. Thank you so much.